Hello team, welcome to DevOps training. In the previous session, we have already discussed about the GitHub and what is the difference between the Git and GitHub and use of the GitHub in the Git. Today we are going to see and we are going to discuss how we can add an existing project on GitHub, right? So in this particular training, we will see GitHub start, GitHub fork and GitHub clone, right? So very first we need to open the GitHub account and log in your account, right? So we need to open the browser and type github.com, right? As soon as you will be on the github.com, and I assume using the previous tutorial or by reference of the previous tutorial you have already created your account on the GitHub, right? So now I am going to sign up in my account, right? I have entered my username, my password, then clicked on the sign in button. So you can see right now, I am on my GitHub account. By this profile picture and by reference of your username, you can find out actually you are present on your GitHub account or not. Right here, I am getting all my directories over here. Now, what I need to do, I need to fork any repository in your account, right? What is the mean of the fork? When we are saying fork the repository, then we are saying create that repository in your private space or create that create the repository, the target repository in your personal repository, right? For that, we need some kind of repository which is present on the GitHub. Either they could be public or they could be private. If you have the reference of any private Git repository, then definitely you can get it. Okay, you can find out that repository, right? And you can fork that repository. If you don't have any private access to any private repository, you can find out any open repository. I'm going to work with Ninja SCM, right? It's a repository which is present on the Git and it's a GitHub account. Right here you can see it's a grid training Ninja SCM, right? And it has a directory which is saying starter-web, right? You can say over here, this is the username of the account and this is the directory name. So this is the directory and this is the user who has created this particular GitHub directory or this GitHub repository. Then how we can fork somebody else directory in our repository or in our Git private space, right? So we can do it using this fork button. As soon as I will click on this fork, it is saying forking SCM Ninja starter web. It should only take few seconds. Okay, now done. Right here you can see the changes are done. Right now the name is being changed. It is saying my username, then starter web, and it is saying forked from SCM Ninja starter web. Right now this is my fork, right? Once I will go to my GitHub account and refresh it, you can see the number of repositories is basically changed. Okay, and I'm getting a starter web in my repository as well, but the sign is different. Earlier the sign was like a book, but now the sign is like a tree. It means the repository, this starter.web repository, is basically forked repository, and I'm getting the clear cut message over here, forked from this particular repository, right? Which is being created by some awesome JT, right? So this is the repository what we have forked, right? So this is what basically starter web is a project which was created by someone else, and we have get that project in our local machine or in our sorry, we have get that project in our local GitHub account. Right now this project is in my GitHub account and I can do whatever I want with this particular project, right? Now we have seen how we can fork it. Now we will see how we can clone the project in our local machine, right? So till now we have seen how we can fork somebody else project in our private Git space, or how we can fork somebody else private repository in our private space. Now we will see how we can get that particular repository from Git to my local. So for that, you need to click over here, clone or download button, right? This is a green button, clone or download, right? You need to click here. It will open a prompt for you. It is saying clone with SSH or download the zip. I prefer the SSH option. I will click on this particular icon which is saying copy to clipboard. When I will click on this particular URL which is mentioned over here is basically copied. Okay. Now I go to my project local machine. Okay, and suppose here I will create a new folder for the Git projects, like name it projects. Okay, go to my projects, open my terminal over here. Okay, verify the directory I'm in, home, then my name, then projects. Over here I will execute a command git clone and then the URL what I have copy from my repository, and it is saying git@github.com colon my username, then project name, then git. Let me make it bigger for you. Right now you can see it is saying git clone is a command which will be used to clone the repository from GitHub to your local Git or from your to your local machine. Okay, and the URL is something git@github.com, then the username, then the project name dot git. As soon as I will press enter, it is saying cloning into starter web, and you can see a starter web project or directory is being created over here. Right now, if I run the command ls-al, ls means list the files, a means all, l means list, right? It is saying total 12 files, which are some are hidden, and starter web is also present here. I will go to the starter web and press ls, and here are some files which is present in this project what I have cloned from my GitHub repository. Right? I go to outer and type git status, and it is saying, okay, sorry, I go to my project which is starter and execute the command git status. It is saying on master branch, which means I have copied it from the master branch. Your branch is up to date. The first thing origin is saying, basically origin is pointing out my git account, my GitHub account, and this is the branch. Okay, first origin means my GitHub account, basically what I have configured from my machine, then master is the branch. Right, nothing to commit, working directory clean. It means I have nothing to commit, my working directory is up to date with my git. Right, so this is the way how you can basically copy uh, how you can copy the code from GitHub to your account. Right, so thank you guys, thanks for your time.